Alright, so been sitting here thinking of how to start this video. Um, I don't know when to thoughts in my head. I watched a couple of videos about what I was going to talk about here, and it stems from experiences myself, a little bit, and a co-worker brought it up yesterday about everything feels off, not like we've slipped into another parallel dimension or different timeline or something. I've never talked about that stuff on here before, so it's kind of new territory for me to be talking about, but it goes along with the videos I watched this morning, or God, not even 30-40 minutes ago, about said topic. And it's not just me and this co-worker that feel this. Ever since the COVID thing, a lot of people have been coming out saying everything feels wrong. It feels like this is not my life that I have been living all these years. And I looked it up on the internet, asked the AI crap what would cause this effect. Age, psychological, that's what it is. The psychological warfare. In this last video I watched about it, the Appalachian channel, or it's Appalachian something. I'll put the links for these videos in the description. It's really made me got to thinking, like the whole COVID thing was a psychological experiment, like we've talked about before. Not just about it, other things that those in power have been doing to all of us. And like I said, everything feels wrong. It feels off, and it's like time's moving faster, but everybody perceives time differently, right? But from what I've watched and heard and read the comments in some of these videos I've watched, most everybody feels the same about this. And different age groups too, not just older people like me. I'm 47, and the guy at work, he's in his mid to late 20s. So that's then you got to think about the CERN thing too. What's going on with that? I haven't even looked into that. I don't look into things like I used to, which I should on some of these things, but like I said, the time, I don't feel like I have the time to do it, too, because one, I'm so tired when I get home from work. You don't feel like doing shit. That, and like today, it's like, where did the time go? It's done afternoon here. I gotta go to work at 3, so but yeah, like I was saying, it's like everything is off, and the made sense when I read that about the psychological effects. And my cigarette went out. I don't need to smoke, I know. I'm working on that. But yeah, that made a lot of sense, because a lot of people were stuck in their homes and couldn't go out because they said so. Don't go out. Anyway, aside from that, it's been a few years since then. But like the lasting effects, them effects last, the rest of your life. If you've ever been research this stuff, you know that. Also, here in North Carolina, with the hurricane, it's like, it's so surreal still yet. I was talking with my daughter this morning about it. Like, it feels like it didn't happen, and then you go outside and see all these fucking trees laying still laying everywhere, and people still having trouble with getting back on their feet and everything, and people still being denied FEMA and everything. It's like I said, everybody's situation is different and perceives everything different. Like, I know people here, around here, see things a lot differently than they used to after Helene. Because that was, it's like right after the COVID crap. Not right after, but you know what I'm saying in the general sense. Well, motherfucker, maybe I shouldn't be smoking. Anyway, it went out again. And to me, like before I even said anything to this coworker yesterday about my feelings on that, he come up and said, it just feels like everything's wrong, and like we've slipped into a different alternate reality or a different timeline or something. I was like, yeah, I know, and I can't remember what else was said, but it just feels off. And like I said a while ago, it's like the psychological thing. And, I think us around here in western North Carolina, it's the hurricane aspect too. Like we've never seen this amount of devastation in our lifetime here. We know that we will see it again. Not that hurricane, but given world events. Like everybody wants to go to war with everybody. Over what? You're doing something I don't like. I just don't like you. I'm gonna go to war with you. And who fits the bill for that? Who pays the price? We all do. Not these. Well, they make money off of it. These businessmen and bankers and politicians. They can say they don't, but they do. And I watched this other video about this lady. I watched it, just a few minutes of it, and said about their laws and their rules and everything. It's all wrong. A lot of these rules and laws hurt more people than they help. Well, it hurts all of us. It helps them. I could go into more detail, but like I'm going through some shit too. Like my old man's not here. He's in jail for violating one of these laws for driving, no license. Anyway, that's another story. But and their system is so fucked. It is. It's rigged against us. Like I was saying, it's rigged against us. Going to jail for driving with no license. It's just crazy. Granted, he had a failure to appear too, but like I said, that's another story. It'll work out. It'll all work out, but on that end, I know I've come to know a lot more about the laws and how it works because of him, and dealing with all that stuff. And it is rigged against us. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But that lady, she said, I'm gonna watch the video in full later, but I just needed to get this off my chest, but I've studied all these laws, the Hammurabi code, the laws wrote in stone, and all that, and looking into that too. I've done videos on here about it as well. Back in the past, you'd have to search if I ain't got them private, because YouTube likes to people they like to delete shit, for you saying one little word or something, something they don't like, I know I'm rambling on here, but anyway, like I said, you can look that stuff up, but and this other video I watched a few minutes of it. Well, I'm gonna watch all of it later. That we talked about this too. We're not supposed to be living the way we're living. It's all wrong too. I think that's part of what's wrong with like I initially said about everybody feeling like everything's off, because it is off. It is off. I have lots of things like everybody else, and when we're kids, we're taught, oh, get stuff, buy stuff, you need this, you need that, you know. But we don't. We don't need all this crap. And we think it's going to make us happy, but it never does. It does for a little bit, and then you're like, I don't know why I even got that. I don't really want that. I've done it myself. We're all guilty of that. And saying that, like I said, that's what's wrong with everybody. We're not supposed to be living the way we're living. We're supposed to be living in tune with nature, and we're not. And when these, like with here where I live, these and this devastation happens, and you realize, I should have been paying more attention to my surroundings, nature, more, and worrying less about what Tom, Dick, and Harry think. I get on my Facebook and look at this one. For this one, I'm not looking for them, but it always pops up. You know how it does. And I agree with some of the things this person says, and some of it I don't. And it's like that even, it's unhealthy, and I'm working on that too, trying not to be on my phone here as much, because that was another thing that this person talked about in that video about how we're not supposed to be living this way. Scroll. It's not healthy. And my children are in there gaming right now. A friend came over and they're playing a new game. Even that, to a point. Not to a point. It is. It's not healthy. But they're grown ups. They're doing their thing. I don't do it anymore. I used to. I'm not saying it's bad, but know your limits on how much time you spend on these things. This world is not what it's supposed to be. They perverted it into what they want it to be, and we have let them. It's our own fault. Not us specifically, but as a whole, humanity. And, excuse me, oh my goodness. Just had breakfast, late breakfast. Anyway, more people are starting to realize that. That lady in that one video about the laws, she even said more and more people are waking up to this crap. This shit ain't right. Like they say, the leader is selected, not elected, which is true. As with all of them, they do some good things, some bad, really bad things. And it's going to take a lot more than just people getting on here and talking about it, and like we've talked before on here, to get out and act on it. I've been doing that too, talking to people, and a lot of people feel the same way that we do. I'm not going to talk about nothing that's happening here about Saturday, what happened Saturday. That's something I don't personally think does any good. That's my opinion. That being said, what we need is more people getting together as communities and not out protesting. Get together with your neighbors and stop pointing out your different beliefs and stuff like that, because we have a lot more in common than not. Anyway, like I was saying, more people are waking up to it, but that's part of it too. A lot of these people are confused and don't know where to put this frustration and anger at. They're putting it towards this when they should be putting it towards that. But like I was saying, everybody's perception of things are different. And from what I've talked with people, I work at a truck stop and I talk to a lot of people. They feel the same way, that this is something's not right, it's off. But I think a lot of it is like that one person in the video I watched, that a lot of people are waking up and seeing finally that this shit is not right. We shouldn't be living this way. Barely surviving. We're barely surviving. I mean, I don't know where I'm gonna get the money to pay my power bill. It's ridiculous. But time is a man-made concept anyways, but that besides it, that being said, it just feels like your life is passing by more quickly than it should be. And like I said, this is from not just people my age, older people. It's from younger people too, feeling this way. But like I said, I believe it's that a lot of people are waking up and seeing we need to stop living the way we're living and do better as human beings. Worry more about what your neighbor needs, what you can do to help them. Worry about that. Don't worry about what they're doing over across the other side of the world. We can't affect nothing over there. Personally, it don't affect us, in a sense. It's up to them people to wake up and see that all this is wrong, which I know a lot of people over there do feel that way, because I've seen on here on videos of people from different countries around the world saying similar to what I'm saying. They're going to do what they're going to do, these people in power, and we need to do what we can to be more unified as a community in our local areas here, and come together and see how we can all coexist together, because we can, and we have. They want us to believe we can't. That's what all this shit is about too, these protests, my views are mixed on, like everybody. We're just showed bits and pieces of what's really going on, and we got to do what we can to piece them together, from watching videos, talking with people in person. And like I said, I hear the same thing from people. They feel the same way. This shit's fucked up. It's not right. I fell victim to it too, here with the politics and all, getting in discussions about it, and in real life, not on here. But it's very frustrating sometimes. You want to tell them what you really think, but if you really told them what you really think, maybe we should tell them what we really think. Like I said, I'm still working on that too. It's hard to get your point across when you feel like you have to self-censor even on here. Um, I probably said a few things that I shouldn't say that might be censored. I don't care, you know. It's mostly for me to get it out. Um, it's we're at that point in humanity where we're going to have to choose. You know, you're going to choose the side of humanity or not. Which we shouldn't have to choose. It should be come natural. You know, it used to. Now it's people are more worried about hurting people's feelings, offending people, than they are worried about getting their, you know, expressing themselves, you know, like we used to do when we were younger, before the fucking internet. That's, I believe that's part of our downfall here. It is. It's a double-edged sword. We've said that before. It's good in one way and bad in another way, and that's where it's bad. It pits people against each other. We all have the same. We all want the same thing. We all want to survive. Just want to live, be happy. You know, be like this kitty cat right here. Hey, Miss Aubrey. Playing possum. Anyway, yeah, just want to live. Just want to exist. Anyway, I know I've probably rambled on a lot here, but I hope some of you got the point of what I'm trying to say here. The psychological warfare is off the charts. And if you watched all this video, I thank you. And if not, I understand why. Because anyway, like I said, it's hard to get my thoughts together on all this, and say what I feel I need to say. Anyway, I'm gonna put some links below for these videos, and one I forgot to talk about licenses is a scam. Anyway, that was from Facebook. But be there for each other, help each other, love one another. Do what you can to help your neighbor. You know, they want us to hate each other. Don't let them. Peace and love, y'all. I will see y'all later. I've got to get ready to go to work. So, y'all have a great rest of your day.